The director shouted cut 3 times, yet my celebrity husband remained locked in a passionate embrace and kiss with his childhood friend. As his assistant, I gently reminded them, but the childhood friend burst into tears, claiming she was too immersed in the role. Right in front of the entire crew, my husband snapped at me, saying my eyes and mind were so foul that I saw dirt everywhere. That very night, the paparazzi caught the two of them entering and exiting a 5-star hotel together. In the past, I'd have been heartbroken, pining over him and desperately trying to handle the PR mess while sobbing. But this time I realized our 5-year secret marriage was completely pointless. Just after I'd had a talk with a lawyer about divorce, Jacob stepped into the lounge. There was a lipstick mark from his childhood friend Agnes on his collar. The instant he saw me, the smile on his face disappeared in a flash, his eyes turning icy as he snapped, "Sienna, can't you get a grip on your place? This is the leading actor's rest area, arranged by the crew. What are you doing here?" I picked up the thermos from the makeup table and replied indifferently, collecting my things. Jacob had started his day at 5 in the morning. I'd prepared the food in the thermos at 3. Its weight hadn't changed, so I knew Jacob hadn't eaten a single bite. Seeing me about to leave, he frowned in annoyance and said once more, "Don't bother cooking anymore. It's tasteless." It wasn't the first time he'd criticized my cooking. Previously, I'd have flared up asking him, "Didn't you say you wanted to eat my cooking forever? Why is it suddenly repulsive?" But this time, I didn't even bother arguing. I just said, and walked out the door. Jacob called after me, "There's a crew dinner tonight. The director wants me to go over the script with Agnes." I pretended not to notice the hint of guilt in his voice and replied coldly, "Okay." After closing the door, I chucked the thermos into the bin. The last scene had been shot near home, so Jacob hadn't stayed at the hotel. He got home around 1 a.m. Seeing that I wasn't waiting for him in the living room as I usually did, Jacob pushed open the bedroom door and said impatiently, "Sienna, you know I have trouble sleeping. Why didn't you make my calming tea?" I pulled the blanket over my head and replied lazily, "I ran out of tea leaves last night. If you want some, order delivery." With a loud slam, Jacob shut the door and went into the study. That was his way of showing he was mad, and in the past it would have made me toss and turn all night, eventually swallowing my pride to apologize. But that night he waited until the next morning, and I still hadn't knocked on the study door. The next day, the crew moved filming to a remote mountain outside the city. For once, Jacob let me ride in the van with him. Just as I got in, Agnes, wearing a low-cut, backless dress, sauntered over gracefully and said, "Jacob, do you have any insect repellent? I always attract mosquitoes." Spotting me, Agnes changed her tune. "Oh, Sienna, you're here too? Then I'd better take the other car." Before Agnes could finish, Jacob said coldly to me, "Sienna, can't you be more reasonable? Stop causing trouble. Go sit in the assistant's car." For the first time, I didn't say a word and got out of the vehicle. Watching my figure walking away, Jacob furrowed his brows. 5 minutes later, I got a WhatsApp message from Jacob. "Agnes will have a scene where she shows her legs. Don't get the wrong idea." I replied briefly. The typing indicator in the chat window stayed on for several minutes. Without a second thought, I exited WhatsApp and switched off my phone. Without Jacob's constant demands, the scenery along the way seemed more beautiful. It was already 11 at night when filming wrapped up. As we were finishing, the scaffold the carpenters had set up suddenly collapsed. In a split second, Jacob pushed Agnes out of harm's way and the two of them tumbled to the ground, accidentally locking lips. The crew members on set started cheering and clapping, and Agnes coyly nestled into Jacob's arms. "Oh no, everyone, don't misunderstand. There's really nothing between Jacob and me," she said. Jacob didn't say anything or offer an explanation, just tightened his hold on Agnes. I used all my strength to shove away the wooden frame